How's it going, everyone? It's Abdallah here from the YouTube channel Abdallah Smash 026, giving you guys a video review of the game Puzzle & Dragons Super Mario Bros. Edition for the Nintendo 3DS. Are you fans of the Super Mario Bros. Universe? What about puzzle games? Or what about RPG elements such as gaining experience to get stronger, recruiting teammates, and even evolving those teammates to way stronger levels? Well, if all that sounds awesome for you, then you're definitely going to love this game. Stay tuned to the review. Mysterious orbs appear within the Mushroom Kingdom, and before you know it, Princess Peach is kidnapped once again by Bowser. Now, Bowser goes through and leaves Mario a note saying, hey, heads up, I got the princess, what are you going to do about it? Come at me, bro. And then he recruits Kamek to go through and even further harness the power of these magical orbs within the Mushroom Kingdom and spread them all throughout. So it's going to be your job to team up with Mario and save the princess. Now, as original as that story is, the game isn't really geared towards a story mode. It's all about going through each of the levels in a new Super Mario Bros. Way. You'll see branching paths, secret exits, 8 worlds. You'll find many different levels that you'll go through within each of those worlds. So right off the bat, you team up with Red Toad, and he finds these different blocks that end up being a Koopa Troopa and a Goomba. So all throughout this game, you're going to be recruiting a lot of cool characters and learning the gameplay on how to go through and save the princess. So how exactly does one play Puzzle & Dragons Super Mario Bros. Edition? Well, it's very simple. The game does a great job teaching you the basics at the very beginning of the game. It's very simple. You have to utilize all of the orbs on the bottom screen in order to make lots of combos. Use these orbs in order to battle all your opponents. As you guys can see right over here, we can move them, and then it's kind of a match 3 kind of a deal. You can move all the orbs freely just like that, changing the positions of the orbs. There are different elements such as fire, water, wood, there's light, there's dark, and then there's the heart ones that help recover your HP, which is very good. So these are your teammates over here. We talked about the Goomba and the Koopa Troopa that join you, and we also have Mario, and we see an enemy Goomba right in front of us. So there's the hit points bar. We have 2,230 right off the bat. And right now, this is the true element of the game. You go through and you drag the orbs across, hoping to make massive combos that you can unleash all the damage multipliers on each of these enemies that you come across. So the more orb chains you clear, the more damage multiplier you get. And as you guys can see, all of your characters have a certain elemental attribute that goes with them. Mario, for example, is the fire element. This Goomba is the wood element. The Koopa Troopa is a water element. So it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors kind of a deal on weaknesses and strengths. So right over here, if you match 5 in a row, you get to use all of your attack power onto every single enemy on screen. So there's going to be a lot of predetermined movement in finding out the best way of going through and attacking your opponents here. Every character has a skill that you can use. For example, this Goomba over here has a bash skill that does a certain amount of damage in wood towards any enemy. Now, as you guys can see, there's a random chance that you can recruit enemies, such as this over here. You get this water block, and at the end of the level, once we're done beating it, we will recruit a random character to join our awesome team over here, which is pretty cool. So the goal is to match as many of these orbs as you can in order to chain them together for massive combos. Now, there is a small amount of time that you can use in order to move everything, so make sure that you guys plan your attacks accordingly so that you guys maximize on all of the damage and combos available. Because if you do massive combos, you'll have a chance to recruit even more characters and possibly get secret items that are hidden within the level. Man, look at all that damage that we just did over there. And at the same time, we were able to recruit another Goomba. We gained some experience towards our characters. And because we got the wood block and that earlier water block, those two guys are going to be able to join our team. It's really awesome. Now, when it comes to characters in the game Puzzle & Dragons Super Mario Bros. Edition, there are a ton of awesome Mario Universe characters, such as Goombas, Cheep Cheeps, Dry Bones, and there are even characters such as a Koopa Troopa riding a Cheep Cheep. Have you ever seen that before? That's hilarious. Now, if you guys take a look at the screen right over here, you'll see some different variations of characters that you can get within the game. The possibilities are limitless with this. It's really crazy, and it's really fun to go through and try to collect all of them within the entire game. Of course, as you guys go through and master the basics and learn how to combo all of your opponents, what you can do is do a massive combo, and then that'll heighten the chance of you to recruit that particular enemy to join your team. It's really awesome. And if they don't drop themselves, then they have a possibility of dropping certain items that you can use to help classify and, I guess, evolve them to the next stronger stage. For example, you can start off with a Goomba, and if you get a certain amount of Goomba tokens, simply by beating a lot of Goombas or doing a massive combo on one, you can possibly evolve that Goomba into a double stack of Goomba, a triple stack of Goomba. If you have a P-Wing item, you can make that Goomba a Para-Goomba and have it be even stronger. The possibilities are really awesome, so that is one of the greatest things that I like about all the character designs. And heck, you can, once you beat the game, you have a possibility of recruiting the Koopalings on your team, and maybe some other secret characters. There are a couple ways of powering up your teammates in the game Puzzle & Dragons Super Mario Bros. Edition. The first way, and it's the easiest way, is just going through the game. Every time you beat up a baddie or opponent, you will gain a certain amount of experience per that. And like any kind of RPG element, the more experience you get, the more you'll level up. A way faster way of doing experience gains is by sacrificing your unused enemies that you've recruited throughout your missions. You can, let's say, for example, you have a whole bunch of Koopa Troopas that you're not really planning on using. If you put them all inside the transformation machine, you'll sacrifice those guys and take their levels and kind of give them all to one of your other characters, which is very useful. What I like to do is go to a level where there's a lot of coin coffers, try to do a super combo in order to allow them to pretty much join me, and then once I have those coin coffers, sacrifice those coin coffers in the transformation machine onto one of my characters like Mario or Luigi or anyone like that, and their experience will go through the roof. So definitely do that when you guys are playing this game. One of the other things that you can do is, as you guys know, each of the characters has their own special ability. For example, the Goomba has some sort of wood attack that does a set amount of damage every time you use it, but it takes 10 or so turns to charge up. If you guys have a certain item that allows them to boost their skill, you can bring them over there, use that item to boost their skill, and then the amount of turns will lessen by 1, which is very cool in case you do have the items and you want those special abilities to be more rapidly used. Other than that, you're going to need as many things as you can in order to fight all of the bosses that are on your adventure here. So now that you've mastered the basics of comboing, you've leveled up your characters, it's time to take on all the various bosses within the game. Now, each world contains about 8 to 9 levels, and it ends off with a boss battle against a certain Koopaling. Very reminiscent to the new Super Mario Bros. Series that we all have come to love. Now, the bosses are very tough, they all have their own elemental weaknesses, so make sure that you bring the teammates that are going to help you out with that. If you can't handle the bosses, that's not that big of a deal. Don't worry. Exit out, head on back over to previous levels, maybe do a little bit of grinding, gain some more experience, gain some more items to help improve your skill along, and then just retry at your leisure. The whole thing about beating all these bosses and going through the game is learning all the different strategies involved and kind of mixing up your approach. There are so many different abilities in the game that it's just really fun. Like with the main characters of Mario and Luigi, they even have certain multipliers that if you do a combo of 3 or more, it'll give you like a 20% multiplier or a 50% multiplier in damage. So learning all those different strategies and abilities with all the different Mario characters is really, really fun, and it'll definitely help you beat all the bosses and make your way to the very end of the game. Puzzle & Dragons Super Mario Bros. Edition is a great single-player game. Now, I really wish that there was some sort of multiplayer functionality in the game. Maybe an online versus, maybe even a local versus, or some sort of way of having an online leaderboard where I can try for a high score in any given level. That would have been really awesome to implement. But what we get is a score attack mode, which you can go through, get a high score, put it on your trainer card, and then ultimately Street Pass that trainer card to someone else who has this game and has activated Street Pass on it. One of the other things that I would love to see is the fact that there's really no amiibo support in the game. I really wish that they would patch and have the ability to slam on, your Rosalina amiibo and then instantly unlock her, rather than playing through the entire game and going through and unlocking her that way. Or, throwing your Bowser amiibo on there, or even your Peach amiibo, whatever kind of amiibo that correlates with the game, I really would have loved to see some sort of functionality, especially now that the NFC Reader Writer is out thanks to Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. Now, what the game does very well is the fact that there are I would say, over 60 hours of gameplay with this thing. The game in and of itself is very long. There is over 8 worlds, tons of levels to play through. There are so many different characters in the game. The inner completionist in me really wants to go through and try to collect every single one of them. And I don't know anyone out there who's actually collected every single one of those characters. I'm pretty sure someone out there has done it, but I'm sure it's taken a lot of time. The RPG elements in the game are very awesome, and it makes me keep on wanting to play. This is one of the games that you can just literally pick up and play. It's level by level. If you're just on the couch and you see your 3DS over there, hey, you know what? Let's try to beat another level today. That's the kind of game that this is. Of course, you can binge play it if you want and go from World 1-1 to the very end of the game. It's really awesome, and you'll totally love it. So, one of the other aspects of Puzzle & Dragons is now that Gungho has very much succeeded with this game and the whole Puzzle & Dragons genre is that they're doing championships and tournaments in areas around the world, which is pretty cool. I'm not that competitive in it, and I don't think that I'd do a really good job with getting those crazy 15, 20 combos, but people out there are. They're really good. So that's really cool that Gungho is taking their game a step further and including a tournament kind of scene. Also, one of the things that I really like about the game is that I didn't even talk that this game is bundled up with an entirely separate game. It's called Puzzle & Dragon Z, where you play as a bunch of dragon tamers and you save the world. It's very, very more like an RPG element. There's a lot more monsters. There's a lot more things to do. That's another review for a totally different thing. But the fact that there's 2 games on this one small cartridge equating to over 100 hours of gameplay is totally worth the price that you'll pay for it. So anyway, guys, that's my review for Super Mario Bros. Edition of Puzzle & Dragons. If you guys enjoyed it, definitely consider picking up the game yourself and playing right along with me. If you guys would like, you guys can take a look in the links in the description to see my Japanese playthrough of the game when it first came out. I was just having a load of fun trying to figure out why or what the Japanese text meant and figuring out all the different things about the game. It was really fun. And one of the other things that Gungho has decided to do, they decided to allow me to give away a couple of the games to each and every one of you guys. So in order to win one of these awesome copies of the games, all you have to do is click on that like button, leave a comment, and visit the description. There's a link in the description how you can enter the contest to further help your odds of winning. So that's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely take a look at Puzzle & Dragons Super Mario Bros. Edition, or at least download the free game on the App Store or the iTunes Store to give that kind of a go. And if you like what you see, just go ahead and grab the Super Mario Bros. Edition. It's going to be really cool. So I'll see you guys on the next Nintendo review. Let me know what you guys thought of Puzzle & Dragons. Give me your own personal testimonies in the comments. And of course, if you have any suggestions of what game I should review next, I'll always be looking at those. Until next time, guys, talk to you later. Bye.